We first met Connor and SJ last fall when they presented to our students at a leadership development conference, and from that developed a relationship where we had a lot of conversations about the mission of JAG-K and preparing kids for their future. We found a little bit of a gap, and they can fill that gap for us, and we're about to take the journey with receiving this grant to develop a 6-week unit, a project-based learning unit that addresses creativity. We talk a lot about those job skills of getting to work on time, how to do your resume, how to do an interview. But what happens then, or what happens especially in years like this one, where we all had to readjust, we had to pivot with the pandemic and COVID. So one of the essential skills that we want to fill a gap and help our students be able to be more successful is that gap of knowing and increasing and building that creativity in our students. So we believe that, we know our mission is more about academic success, but we know we can't achieve that unless our students their needs are taken care of, and we take a look at the whole student, not just in pieces or segments. So as we take a look at those factors, we know that our mission closely aligns with this Kansas Health Foundation grant that we are producing healthier citizens in the state of Kansas through a creativity project. And I would like to introduce SJ is going to go next, and Connor to tell you a little bit more about this, but we are very excited to be on this journey and the end product of this project that our students in JAG-K are going to be able to take advantage of.
Well, we're very excited to be partnering with JAG-K. They do so many great things. One thing that's really interesting is that they have 15 governors on their board, and it's the most governors on any nonprofit board in the nation. Creativity, I always say, is like a set of keys covered in mystique like the 7 C's. And when I say things like that, there's so much myths around creativity to where you're either born with it, it's a flash of genius, it's something like that. But there's different techniques that can be developed, and success leaves clues. So with that, we get into inspiration, we get into motivation, we get into creation, and we get into connection. And all these things work together. And I'll use a brief description, like Martin Luther King. He was inspired by injustice, which motivated him to create the I Have a Dream speech, which connected with the whole world, which goes back to inspiring the whole world. So we have a creativity model. Those are the 4 steps. And there's so many different things. We're all about we're outside of the box. And we believe that that's where a lot of things need to be. We're doing things that are kind of untraditional, but they're very effective. And that's some of the things. And I'll let Connor talk about some other things as well.
So from the moment we met JAG, we knew that they were doing something special. Nationwide graduation rates for students that go through JAG programs, whether it's in Kansas or other states, is an incredible 97%. That ability to transform lives and to set people up for success that might otherwise face barriers to them is something that, quite frankly, we've never seen before at this scale. And even though they're able to get those levels of successes, as Vice President of Programming, Beverly Mortimer, mentioned, there is a gap, and she's absolutely right. That gap is growing, and it's the creativity gap. See, we're seeing that creativity is something that's more important than it's ever been before. You talk to any major company, and one of their top 5 concerns is almost always, how do we continue to innovate? Meanwhile, if you look at the data, creativity across generations, and certainly with our budding generations, continues to grow less and less and less based off of the data. So while that can be a challenge, it's one that we're increasingly ready to face. With some research that's coming out of places like Dr. Todd Thrash's work at the University of New Hampshire, work that we're continuing to do at Creative Pathways and Means, we're starting to understand how creativity works in the brains and hearts of people. And through some of the things that we're doing, we really hope to be able to empower JAG students so that they can have access to these things. The #1 job that students today want to become in America is actually YouTube creator, believe it or not. because they see the opportunity that's present when you have not only a set of economic skills, but also the capacity to use them in ways that are novel and creative and can solve problems and create opportunities that one might not see otherwise. And we're really, really excited to have the chance to partner with an organization that is doing incredible work like JAG-K so that we can help meet Kansas Health Foundation's goals to change and implement positive behaviors, create the ability for educational attainment, and some of the other different things that are happening through this Impact and Capacity Grant through the Kansas Health Foundation.